Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridharidhari. 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 Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana. Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana. Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana. Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanakari. Yamuna Tira Vanakari. Yamuna Tira Vanakari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, हरिनाम संकीर्तन की शिला प्रभुपाद की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे। नाइन नाइन 119 ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
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 ओम नमो भगवते
नरं चैवं नरोत्तमं
नरं चैव नरोत्तमं
देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं
देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं
ततो जयमुदीरये।
ततो जयमुदीरये।
नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु
नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु
नित्यं भागवत सेवया
नित्यं भागवत सेवया
भगवती उत्तम श्लोके
भगवते उत्तमश्लोके
भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी।
भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी।
So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 1, and Shloka number 9. तत्र तत्राञ्जय आयुष्मान्
तत्र तत्राञ्जय आयुष्मान्
भवता यद्विनिश्चितं
भवता यद्विनिश्चितं
पुंसाम् एकान्तश्रेयस्
पुंसाम् एकान्तश्रेयस्
तन्ना संचितुम् अर्हसि।
तन्ना संचितुम् अर्हसि।
तत्र तत्राञ्जय आयुष्मान्
तत्र तत्राञ्जय आयुष्मान्
भवता यद्विनिश्चितं
भवता यद्विनिश्चितं
पुंसाम् एकान्ततः श्रेयस्
पुंसाम् एकान्ततः श्रेयस्
तन्ना संचितुम् अर्हसि।
तन्ना संचितुम् अर्हसि।
तत्र तत्राञ्जय आयुष्मान्
तत्र तत्राञ्जय आयुष्मान्
भवता यद्विनिश्चितं
भवता यद्विनिश्चितं
पुंसाम् एकान्ततः श्रेयस्
पुंसाम् एकान्ततः श्रेयस्
तन्ना श्रुतिम् अर्हसि।
तन्ना संचितुम् अर्हसि।
तत्र तत्राञ्जय आयुष्मान्
भवता यद्विनिश्चितं पुंसाम् एकान्ततः श्रेयस् तन्ना संचितुम् अर्हसि।
तत्र तत्राञ्जयशायुष्मान्
तत्र तत्राञ्जय आयुष्मान्
भवता यद्विनिश्चितं
भवता यद्विनिश्चितं
पुंसामेकान्तता श्रेयस्
पुंसाम् एकान्ततः श्रेयस्
तन्ना संशितुम् अर्हसि।
तन्ना संचितुम् अर्हसि। तत्र तत्राञ्जय आयुष्मान् भवता यद्विनिश्चितं पुंसाम् एकान्ततः श्रेयस् तन्ना संचितुम् अर्हसि। तत्र तत्राञ्जय आयुष्मान् भवता यद्विनिश्चितं पुंसाम् एकान्ततः श्रेयस् तन्ना संचितुम् अर्हसि। तत्र तत्राञ्जय आयुष्मान् भवता यद्विनिश्चितं पुंसाम् एकान्ततः श्रेयस् तन्ना संचितुम् अर्हसि।
Word to word meaning. Tatra, thereof. Tatra, thereof. Anjasa, made easy. Ayushman, blessed with a long duration of life. Bhavata, by your good self. Yet, whatever. Vinichitam, a certain. Pumsam, for the people in general. Ekantataha, absolutely,
absolutely,
Sreya,
Shreya,
ultimate good,
ultimate good,
Tat,
Tat,
that,
that,
Nah,
Nah,
to us,
to us,
Shamsitum,
Samsitum,
to explain,
to explain,
Arhasi,
Arasi,
deserve.
deserve.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
So just follow the translation. Please,
Please,
therefore,
therefore,
being blessed with many years,
being blessed with many years,
explain to us
explain to us
in an easily understandable way
in an easy and understandable way
what we have ascertained
what we have ascertained
to be the absolute
to be absolute
and ultimate good
and ultimate good
for the people in general.
for people in general.
I'll just read the purport. In Bhagavad Gita, worship of Acharya is recommended. The Acharyas and Goswamis are always absorbed in a thought of well-being of general public, especially spiritual well-being. Spiritual well-being is automatically followed by material well-being. The Acharyas therefore give direction in a spiritual well-being for people in general. Foreseeing the incompetencies of the people in this age of Kali or the iron age of quarrel, the sage requested that Sutta Goswami gives summary of all the revealed scriptures because the people of his age are condemned in every respect. The sages therefore inquired of absolute good, which is the ultimate good for the people. The condemned state of affairs of the people in this age is described as follows. ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम् वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरो वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सगणं रघुनाथान्वितं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सगणं श्रीविशाखान्वितं च कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधा कान्त नमोस्तुते तप्त काञ्चन गौरङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये मंचाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। So welcome to our Sunday feast program. So we are reading from Canto 1, Srimad Bhagavatam chapter 1, questions by the sages and text number 9. So just before we came here, we were in AEC's layout and we are having exactly the Srila Prabhupada Guru Puja. And then after half an hour, we started Guru Puja here. So I was just thinking that one devotee was saying, there is a one personality on this earthly planet today. He's being worshipped every moment of 24 hours. And who is that? Srila Prabhupada. So in Bangalore itself, we had two locations where we are celebrating one after the other, and parallelly Kannamangla and then many other places and Seshadripuram. And if you see that after some time, maybe Pakistan and then somewhere else, and the Middle East and then Europe and going to the US. So continuously, Srila Prabhupada worship is being actually happening, and that's why he's called as Jagat Guru. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. We just started Canto 1, which is the beginning, and then chapter 1, the questions by sages. So before coming to the 9th slok, so what we have here is the So Vasudev begins where Bhagavad Gita ended. So where did Bhagavad Gita practically ended? The instruction by Lord Sri Krishna. Sarva dharman pariteja mam ekam sharanam vraja. Am tvam sarva papebhyo mokshaya sevi masucha. And Vasudev begins Om Namo Canto 1, Chapter 1 and Shloka number 1. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Janmadi Asyato. So it begins with who is that absolute truth, Param Satya. And then the Shloka number 1 actually talks about the 7 characteristics of absolute truth. So first 3 shlokas, Vasudev actually gives the prelude of Srimad Bhagavatam. What is going to come? So the first 3. So if you see, first 1, 2, 3 shlokas are the prelude of Srimad Bhagavatam. 4 to 8, which are setting the scene, and 9 to 23, which is the last shloka of Canto 1, Chapter 1, which is the question asked by sages. How many questions were asked by the sages? 4, 5, 6. How many are saying 6? Wonder. 3. What about 4? 1. What about 5? None of the above. So, what is the answer? You want to know, or you will? 6 questions were asked by the sages of Naimisharanya. First question is the 9th shloka that we will see. So here, the first 3 shlokas are the prelude of Srimad Bhagavatam. What is going to come? Here, the first shloka is actually talking about the definition of absolute truth, Param Satya. Who is the Param Satya? When we say Param Satya, absolute truth, he is the personality and he is none other than Vasudeva. He is the son of Vasudeva. He is called as Vasudeva. That's why Vasudev begins Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And who is that? Janmadi Asya Yatoho. Janmadi Asya Yato means who is the source of everything. Janmadi Asya Yato. Whatever we see, creation, destruction and maintenance, he is the source of everything, and that is what is the absolute truth. We cannot claim, or anybody cannot claim tomorrow say that I am absolute truth. No. If we can claim absolute truth, then we should be the source of everything, not only a source of living entities, but the source of all the living source, all 84 lakh species of the living entities. And not only this universe, but n number of universe. Not only that, the material world as well as the spiritual world. And it is mentioned that the spiritual, the overall creation is divided into 1/4 and 3/4. 3/4 is the creation of the spiritual world, and somewhere in the corner, 1/4, 25% is the creation of the material world. And the person who is the source of that is called as a absolute truth. The next, he talks about that he is directly and indirectly conscious of all manifestation. He is directly and indirectly conscious of all the manifestation. Sometimes people say, Lord has created. Sometimes we see that the Atlas, right? Atlas carrying that globe. Now he's heavily burdened, loaded by that, and now he's actually bent. So like this, sometimes people say that this Lord is actually has created the universe, but now once he has created, it has gone out of his control. Now he is not controlling anymore. But that is not what the absolute truth is actually talking about. Absolute truth means he is directly and indirectly conscious of everything what's happening in the world. Today, we may be conscious about what's happening within our body to some degree, but most of the times we don't even know what's happening within our body. What to talk about other living entity, and what to talk about all the living entity in this universe, and what to talk about all the living entity in all the universes and all everywhere. And there is only one person who is a conscious of, and who is that? Parama Satya, absolute truth. When we were in Vrindavan, so we were having some throat infection. So we were conscious that throat infection ho raha hai. Then there was a stomach upset, right? Some garbad, right? And somebody has some other symptoms. We may be aware of to some degree what's happening within our body, but we don't even know completely. So even doctors, sometimes when they do the treatment, they will actually do trial and error, right? You try this medicine, if it works, otherwise try B, try C. It's all trial and error. But absolute truth, Param Satya, who is directly and indirectly conscious of all the living entities and everything that is happening in this material world. Why it is called as directly and indirectly? Any thought why is called directly? And Prabhupada writes in the purport, translation rather, directly and indirectly. Yes, Prabhu? So Krishna does not directly come in contact with the material nature. Then who comes in contact with the nature? Krishna's energy, Maya, okay. But who creates this whole universe? Expansion. Brahma is the secondary creator, right? Lord Vishnu. So Vishnu, then from the Brahma, and then all this creation happens. But the basic elements are created by Vishnu, and Brahma creates the secondary. So Brahma is not the primary creation. Brahma is the secondary creation. So because everything happens in this material world by Krishna's energy, so but the source of that energy is Krishna. So that is why it is said directly or indirectly, Krishna is aware of everything that's happening in this material world or in the universe everywhere. And the second thing is very important, that is it's called as Swarat. Swarat means independent. There is no cause which is causing the existence of the Lord. Sometimes people would ask, who is the source of who is the source of as a living entity for us? Our parents. For them, then finally it comes to, and who is the source of Krishna? People ask, right? Who is the source of Krishna? Who is the source of Krishna? No one, because he is a Swarat. And that's actually differentiate between Krishna and all the other living entities, because all other living entities are not independent, they are dependent, they are not avidya, they are not aware of everything. But it is only Krishna who is independent, and everything he is aware of, that avidya and Swarat. So that makes differentiate between Krishna and any other living entities. It is only Krishna who is aware of everything. And the fourth thing, that Tene Brahma Hrudaye Adi Kavai. This knowledge was given first to whom? Lord Brahma. So this is the fourth characteristic of the absolute truth, Param Satya, that the knowledge was imparted to Lord Brahma. Tene Brahma Hrudaye Adi Kavai. So sometimes, because we are so engrossed, we think that the knowledge has to be given directly sitting Krishna here and then Brahma there. Not required. Krishna can do anything because he is the supreme. So he directly imparted the knowledge in Krishna's, Brahma's heart, and then Brahma was done. And it does not need any time also. It can be done in a moment. It can be done in a kshana, tat kshana. So the fourth characteristics of the absolute truth, that the knowledge was given to Lord Brahma first by Lord Krishna. Tene Brahma Hrudaye Adi Kavai. And by him, even the great sages and the demigods are placed in illusion, as one is bewildered by the illusory representation of water seen in fire or land seen on water. So even Tene Brahma Hrudaye Adi Kavai Muhyanti yet Suraya. Even the Surayas, great sages and demigods, are also bewildered. They cannot know Krishna. How can we know the source? Can we know our source? Unless and until the source reveals himself. So that's why it is said in Bhagavad Gita 10 point, Nate Vidu Suragana. So even the Suragana cannot understand Krishna, then what to talk about small, tiny, living entity in Bangalore? Can we understand Lord Sri Krishna? No, unless and until Lord reveals himself, then only we can understand. Because creation cannot understand creator unless and until creator reveals himself. And the next thing is that because of him, Do the material universes, which are temporarily manifested by the reactions of the three modes of material nature, appears factual, although they are unreal. Sometimes sometimes we worry, if everything is temporary, why it appears so real, right? So factual. If ask anybody in this material world, what about this everything? We see everything, we feel, we see, we perceive, we conceive everything, but actually it is all temporary and unreal. But because of absolute truth, it appears to be factual. This is the sixth characteristics of the absolute truth. That even though it is a temporary, even though it is unreal, but it appears to be real or factual. Last but the not least, Lord Krishna, who is eternally existence in the transcendental abode, who is forever free from the illusory representation of the material world. So Krishna is always free from the three modes of material nature. Sometimes when we see Lord Ram, Prabhu Ramchandra ji, when Mother Sita was kidnapped and he's crying like an ordinary human being, then people think that he is an ordinary human being. So how do we understand? But here it is said that Lord Krishna is free from he is beyond. He is called as Adhokshaja. Adhokshaja means he is beyond the three modes of material nature, right? He is beyond three modes of material nature. He never comes, never comes under the influence of three modes of material nature. In case if he comes under the three modes of material nature, that means modes of material nature is higher than Lord. So then Lord is not supreme, right? If modes of material nature is superior or greater than the Lord, then the Lord is not superior. Then how do we understand Prabhu Ramchandra is crying for Mother Sita? He's under the influence of modes of material nature, like any human beings. If we have some difficulties, we cry. Or small child, when they don't get the result as per their expectation in the exam, so they may start crying. As adult, we also cry, but we cry internally. We don't cry externally, but we also cry internally or in a secluded place. If nobody is watching, we also cry, right? So Lord Ram also cried. Sita, Sita, Sita. So how do I understand? Huh?
Devotee love.
Love. Okay.
Devotee.
Huh?
Love for the devotee.
Love for the devotee. Okay. It's a leela. Okay. Nice. What else? Sorry, bro. Yes, in that pastimes or leela, he's performing as a normal human being, and he's showing by his own example that if you are too attached, and this is what the result. But Lord is actually not under the three modes of influence. If he's then he's not a supreme Lord. These characters of the absolute truth. If somebody says that who is the source of Krishna, then we can say that he's absolute truth. He has no source. He is the source of everything, right? Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigra Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karana. It is aphorisms. In Vedanta Sutras are called as aphorisms. Aphorisms means which are self-explanatory. It does not need any other document or any other statement to prove that. They are self-explanatory. So similarly, absolute truth is self-explanatory because he is independent, he is a Swarat, he is Abhidnya, he is Janmadhyashyata, and he is the source of everything, creation, maintenance, and even destruction. And that absolute truth, Vasudev says that I meditate upon him because he is a absolute truth. Satyam Param Dhimai. So these are the seven characteristics of the absolute truth. There will be quiz at the end, so please be attentive. Otherwise, you will thinking that oh, there's no question, and then we can be little relaxed. This is the first shloka. In the second shloka, Vasudev continues. We are just having revision, so that we'll come back to this shloka of the questions being glories of Srimad Bhagavatam. We should know why we are hearing Srimad Bhagavatam every single day. When Rupa Goswami described the angas of devotional service, how many angas he described in a nectar of devotion? How many angas? Five are important, but overall 64. Very nice. Matajis are nice. Very intelligent. Sometimes people say Matajis are not intelligent. Who says Matajis are not? Our Matajis are super intelligent. So 64 angas, and out of that 64 angas, the five are very potent, and one of them is Sravan Bhagavatam Sravanam, reading Srimad Bhagavatam every single day. Why we should hear Srimad Bhagavatam? First thing, Dharma projita kaitavatra paramo nirmasaranam satam. This Srimad Bhagavatam is Dharma projita kaitava. It rejects all dharma which are motivated by material things. It rejects. It does not talk about anything. What is the dharma which are actually motivated by material things? Any example? What does that mean?
Do this, you will get this.
Yes, some karma kanda section. You do these things, you will get these results. Bhagavatam is not talking about anything material things. It's only talking about absolute truth. Because when you say any book, the books actually, what is the purpose of that book, you can actually understand from the initial shloka. Bhagavatam very first shloka talks about absolute truth. That means Bhagavatam is not going to discuss anything other than Param Satya, absolute truth. Is not going to discuss about. So dharma projita kaitava, it rejecting all other kind of dharma. Then what is talking about? If he's not talking about the dharma which are rejected by material things, but it talks about the highest truth. This Bhagavatam is talking about highest truth. What is the highest truth? Param Satya. And who can understand this Srimad Bhagavatam? Nirmatsaranam Satam. It is understandable by those devotees who are fully pure in our heart, in their heart. If we are envious, we cannot understand Srimad Bhagavatam. So this is the third characteristics of Srimad Bhagavatam. The first is that rejects all dharmas which are motivated by material. The second thing, if it is not talking about it actually propound the highest truth. The third thing, that Srimad Bhagavatam is understood only by nirmasaranam satana. So only by those devotees who are nirmasara. Masara means envious. Nirmasara, those who are not envious. And the fourth thing, the highest truth is reality distinguished from the illusion for the welfare of all. So Srimad Bhagavatam distinguishes, Srimad Bhagavatam differentiate between what is the highest truth, what is the reality, and what is the illusion. And that is why Bhagavatam is even enjoyed by the pure devotees, because it does not talk about the illusion. It only talks about the reality. What is the fact? What is the factual things? So this is the fourth characteristic of Srimad Bhagavatam, that it differentiates what is the reality, what is the illusion, what is the fact, what is not a fact. And Bhagavatam, if we read Bhagavatam, if we hear Bhagavatam, what it does? Tapatrayan mulanam. It actually removes, uproots. Tapatrayan mula. Mula means roots. It actually uproots all the threefold miseries. If we hear Bhagavatam, if we read Srimad Bhagavatam, what would happen? It would remove all three kinds of miseries. What are the three kinds of miseries? Miseries coming from our own body and mind, right? It's very simple. And this comes typically, Kali Yuga, it's more prominent, right? If you have everything, but our neighbors are better than us, we actually go and doomed, right? If you have like Maruti, we should be very happy, but he has Mercedes. God, this is the problem with our own body and mind intelligence. The next is that misery is coming from Adi Bhautika, right? Sorry, Adi Daivika or Adi Bhautika, whatever it is. So let's say Adi Daivika, Mata said Adi Daivika. So what are the examples of Adi Daivika? Natural calamities like Corona 2019, right? A small virus, Corona, can show that it can devastate the whole world. And the people actually came to our knees. Then we understood that there is nothing in our hand. Not even science can do anything. What to talk about anything else? So that is the disasters or the calamities coming because of the nature. So what happened when the burden comes on that, somehow nature also has its detox feature. So when the things goes like out of thing, then nature puts the detox, then things come and the corona will come, then tsunami will come, and different kinds of diseases will come which we heard or even not aware of that. So these kind of things will come in Kali Yuga. And the third thing is that Adi Bhautika. You are sitting and the mosquito will come and they bite, right? So these are the miseries coming from other living entities. Recently, we saw some messages, right? Our devotees was like going, suddenly somebody came and knocked him down. So nothing. It appears that there is no fault of living entities, but somebody comes and you'll dash him and you'll run away, and the other person will be admitted to the hospital. So these are the miseries coming from other living entities. So all these miseries are uprooted by hearing and reading Srimad Bhagavatam. And this Srimad Bhagavate Mahamani Krute, this Bhagavatam was composed by Mahamuni. Who is that Mahamuni? Vasudev, compiled by the great sage Vasudev in his maturity, and it is sufficient for the God realization. There is no need of any other scripture. If we all are looking for self-realization, God realization, how many of are looking for the self-realization? Then what should we do? We should read Srimad Bhagavatam. We should hear Srimad Bhagavatam only on Sunday 10 o'clock. When should we hear, Mataji? Every single day, Sada, Sarvatra, every time and all the time, we should read Srimad Bhagavatam. That's why, if you see the parampara coming in Srila Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, our standard praman is Srimad Bhagavatam Amala Pramanam. For every parampara, every sampradaya, there is one standard book for all of us. Our standard book is Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, and Chaitanya Charitamrita, Bhagavatam Amala Puranam. And so what happens? We hear Srimad Bhagavatam very attentively and submissively. The second slok talks about that. As soon as one attentively and submissively hears the message of Bhagavatam, by the culture of the knowledge, the Supreme Lord is established within his heart. Tat Shanat. When? Within a moment that one can actually realize absolute truth where within his heart. That is the potency of Srimad Bhagavatam. So these are the 7 characteristics of Srimad Bhagavatam. And the next shloka, which is again the part of the prelude, Nigama Kalpataror Galitam Phalam. So this Srimad Bhagavatam is the mature fruit of the desire tree of all the Vedic literature. If Vedic literature is a kalpataru, desire tree, and the fruit of that desire tree is a Srimad Bhagavatam. Why is called as a mature fruit of Vedic culture or Vedic literature?
It's compiled after writing Vedanta Sutra.
It is composed and compiled by Vasudeva after Vedanta Sutra. Okay. Any other thought? Why it is called as Nigama Kalpatara Galitam Phala? Phala means is a fruit. Galitam Phala means matured. Why it is called as Galitam Phala? Sorry? It's the essence of everything. So just like if you say the phala, the fruit has the essence, the sar of the right. So similarly, the essence of all the Vedic literature is in that Srimad Bhagavatam. Not only that, it is a Nigama Kalpatara Galitam Phalam, but it is touched by Sukham Mukha. It is touched by the beak of Sukha. Sukha means parrot, and also Sukadeva Goswami. If you like, if you have what you call that guava fruit, right? It's touched by the parrot, it is very tasty. So similarly, the Srimad Bhagavatam is touched by the lips of Sukadeva Goswami, and it is very relishable. And that's why this Bhagavatam is even more tasteful, and its nectarian juice was already relishable for all. Rasam alaya, muhu raho rasika bhuvi bhavuka. So Vasudev is actually encouraging all of us. Therefore, this fruit has become even more tasteful, although its nectarian juice was already relishable for all, including the liberated souls. So the Srimad Bhagavatam is not only for the neophyte devotees, but it is even applicable for all the liberated souls as well. So this is the Srimad Bhagavatam's glories. Pibatam Bhagavatam Rasam Alay. So Vasudev is inviting all of us, please come and taste this Rasama Alaya, this nectarian juice coming from the Srimad Bhagavatam, touched by Sukadeva Goswami. So this is the three slokas of first three slokas, which gives the introduction what is going to come in all this Bhagavatam and n number of slokas. How many slokas are there in Srimad Bhagavatam? 18,000 slokas. So this is the glimpse. This is the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam is only going to talk about Param Satya. Is not going to talk about any dharma which is motivated by material things, and it is a rasam, it is a juice, it is a nectarian, and Vasudev is inviting all of us, please take and drink this juice up. And from there it begins the fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh sloka, eighth sloka. That so there the sages of Naimisharanya were doing the yagyas or sacrifice. What was the purpose of that sacrifice? The purpose of that sacrifice for the satisfaction of the Lord and his devotees. You see that the sages, their purpose is that how can I do good for the people? And that is why they are called as a sages. They are great people. They are not thinking about what I will do by performing the sacrifice. In today's world, all activities that we do, the underlying principle is that what will I get out of that? When I come here, what will I get? If I do this, what will I get? But the sages of Naimisharanya, they are doing the sacrifice for how many years? Thousand sahasra. But the purpose of all this, the purpose, the intention was that to satisfy Lord and his devotees. Once Narad Muni was going through that and he saw the sons of Kuvera, right? They were actually without clothes, they were intoxicated. Though he was offended, but he did not take that offense seriously. But he was thinking, what I can do for these people. They are completely intoxicated and they are intoxicated by the whatever the things. Now I should do something for them. First he cursed, but in that curse there was a blessing in disguise. So this is the mood of sages. The sages actually they come to the respective the places of our houses or something, but only with the one purpose. What is that I can do good for these people? You see, the sages or the sannyasis, they are not staying in one place. They are going to one place to other place to the other place to the other place with the only purpose, how can I do good for the grahasthas who are completely entangled in this material world. So they come and they give the knowledge and they tell us what is the best things, what is the good thing for all of us in this material world. So when the sages come to our house or the sannyasis come to our house, it is actually good fortune for all of us, because sadhu santa yeti gara tochi diwali dasra. In Marathi, this is the proverb. When the sages come to our house, actually it is nothing but the Dasara and Diwali. It is so it is our good fortune when the sages or the sannyasis come to our house. They don't come for any other purpose for getting money from all of us, but they come to enlighten all of us. So similarly here, if you see the sages of Naimisharanya, they were doing the sacrifice for welfare of the people, for the satisfaction of the Lord and his devotees. One day, after finishing their morning duties by burning the sacrificial fire and offering a seat of esteem to the Sutta Goswami, the great sages made inquiries with a great respect about the following matter. Now, the discussion begins between the sages of Naimisharanya and Sutta Goswami. Who is the Sutta Goswami? He is the one of the audience when the original Srimad Bhagavatam was spoken by Sukadeva Goswami to Parikshit Maharaj on the bank of Ganges, and one of the audience was a Sutta Goswami. Who is the father of Sutta Goswami? Romaharshan. Romaharshan, once he was giving Srimad Bhagavatam, and who comes there? Balaram. And of course, those who are speaker who are not supposed to even disturb these things, but he was not the ordinary person who actually come guest. When the guest come, he are not supposed to stand up. But the guest was not an ordinary person. He is none other than Lord himself. So this father of Sutta Goswami, Who is the father of Sutta Goswami? Romaharshan. He did not stand up. And then Balaram become very angry, and with the grass, blade of a grass, actually he killed Romaharshan Sutta. And then, in fact, he wanted to even restore him his life, but all the sages said, now instead of restoring Roma Sutta, you give your blessing to his son, who is the son of Romaharshan Sutta, Sutta Goswami. And that Sutta Goswami was the audience when the Srimad Bhagavatam was spoken to Parikshit Maharaj by. So originally this Bhagavatam was spoken by Lord Krishna to Brahmadev. Tene Brahma Hrudaye Adi Kavai. Brahma has given to Narada. Narada has given to Vasudev. Vasudev has given to his son Sukadeva Goswami. Sukadeva Goswami has given to Parikshit Maharaj. In that assembly there was Sutta Goswami now is sitting here. So the scene is getting set, right? You see that the whole Vedic literature, or most of the Vedic literature, is a discussion. It's a conversation. Bhagavad Gita is the conversation between Lord Krishna and Arjun. Uh, Bhagavatam is the discussion between Sukadeva Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj. In fact, what we hear is the talk discussion between sages of Naimisharan and Sutta Goswami. In that discussion, it is the discussion between Parikshit Maharaj and Sukadeva Goswami. And in that discussion, there will be a discussion between the Vidura and Maitreya. And in that there will be some another discussion. So discussion in this is nested loop, right? We have nested loop. In that nested loop, and nested loop. So this is where, so one day in that morning, Sutta Goswami now is ready and he is about to start. Now they said that Tvaya Khalum Puranani Soti Asani Chanaga. He said, the sages said, oh, respected Sutta Goswami, you are Anaga. Anaga means Anagha, free from all vices. This word come also in a very good. Who is that Anaga in Bhagavad Gita called? Arjuna. Arjuna is also called as Anaga. So here, this is the characteristics of the person who is speaking Bhagavatam. What is the characteristics? He is a Anaga, he is free from all the vices. Not only that, you are well versed in the scripture, famous for religious life, and in the Puranas and the histories. You have gone through them under proper guidance and also have explained them. So, what are the characteristics of Sutta Goswami? First, he is free from all the vices. Anaga. Sorry?
Conclusion of all this.
He understood the conclusion of all the Vedic literature. He not only that he understood, but he also realized and he explained to the other people. So that is why he is a well qualified, well situated as the speaker of Srimad Bhagavatam. Next shloka continues the glories or the characteristics of the Sutta Goswami. Being the eldest learned Vedantist, O Sutta Goswami, you are acquainted with the knowledge of Vasudev, who is the incarnation of the Godhead. And you are also know the other sages who are fully versed in all kinds of physical and metaphysical knowledge. So you have understood in a disciplic succession and you are well versed in that, and that is why you are well qualified as a speaker of Srimad Bhagavatam. And the next and the last, but our previous shloka of the 9th shloka, that is 8th shloka, it is said that you are a Saumyam. Saumya means very pure and simple. Srila Prabhupada said that this Krishna consciousness is a simple for those who are simple in their heart, but is complicated for those who are complicated in the heart. So Sutta Goswami, the sages of Naimisharan, is saying that you are a Saumya. Saumya means you are pure and simple. Not only you are Saumya, but you are also Snigdash. Snigdha means you are very submissive. Where in Bhagavad Gita, it is said that once one approaches his spiritual master, one should ask the question in a particular mood. Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashanena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshina. Shloka in chapter number 4.34. So once one approaches to the spiritual master or the speaker, what should be the mood? Submissive, Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprasnena sevaya. So one must serve that person and one should ask the question in a submissive mood, not in a challenging mood. So these are the qualification that is mentioned about even the audience. So the qualification of the speaker and the qualification of audience. And now they are started beginning asking the questions. And today's shloka is talking about the one of the sixth question. And you wanted to know what is the sixth one of the sixth question they asked? Yes. And the first question they say that please tell us that you have understood this and you are certain what is the ultimate good for the people in general. So that is the what is the ultimate good for the people in general. So when the discussion goes between spiritual master and disciple, we should not go and ask what is the latest model of iPhone. That's not the kind of discussion we should have. Here, the sages are actually showing by their own example what kind of question we should ask. What kind of question we should ask? The questions should be asked in relationship that can help us on our journey to the self-realization and the God realization. And not only that, the question should be asked only for the benefit of ourselves, but for the benefit of all the people in general. And that is the characteristics of the sages. They are not an ordinary soul. They are not talking about what they are asking the question so that they only get benefited. No, they are asking the question so that the people in general will get benefit. So here it's very important that they are asking shreyas. There are two things, shreyas and praise. What is the difference between shreyas and praise? Prayers means immediate benefit, and shreyas means long-term benefit. Any example of praise? Huh? Sweet. Prabhu is saying like, okay. Oh, that reminds. Once we had in our Janmashtami competition who eats more number of gulab jamuns. Yes, Prabhu, do you remember that? And then people, young, energetic, enthusiastic, they started eating 1, 2, 3, 4, hat, 11, 12, 20, 25, 30, and he was very enthusiastic and he won the competition. And evening or next day he started eating. This is a prayasa. So if you're looking for the immediate benefit, but if you are missing the long-term benefit, then the whole purpose is actually defeated. So as a practitioner, as a devotee, or as a newcomer, or whatever we call ourselves, we should be looking, our goal, our radar should be that what is my ultimate benefit. Because what happened sometimes or most of the times when we are looking for the short-term benefit, we actually miss the long-term benefit. So we should be very careful when we are taking decision in our life or we are taking steps in our life. That decision, because most of times we get the question, what shall I do? When we come to the junction, whether should I take right or left? Now there is no Google. Google cannot tell us that you take left in your life or take right. And unfortunately, there is no control judge in life, right? If you do control judge, you can undo. But in life, you cannot undo. Once you take decision, you have to go ahead. So we have to take a decision or we have to take a turn either left or right or we have to go straight based on what is the stress, not the stress. Even Arjun also asked the same question, 2.7. What is the 2.7? Karpanya doshopahata svabhava prushami tvam dharma sammudacheta He's also asking, tell me what is the Shreyas. So Nichita, please tell me certain what is the ultimate benefit for me. He did not ask. You see that the context of Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna was confused, right? He said whether I should fight or not fight. The question that he should have asked that, oh Lord, please tell me whether I should fight or I should not fight. But what did he ask? What is the long-term benefit? He did not ask whether I should fight or no. That is not what he asked. If you see that Gandiva is slipping from his hand, Gandiva is slipping from his hand. Now I am confused. I am a soul surrender unto you, a disciple to you. Please instruct me. What shall I do? He did not ask whether I should fight or I should not fight. Then the whole Bhagavad Gita happens, and Krishna is an intelligent person. He did not say, now I told you, you must do that, right? Sometimes as a Bhakti Ruksha leader, we get in a controlling mentality. And then we want our members to do exactly what I ask you to do that. And if it doesn't do, then you are not following the guidelines. You are not following the authority. But Krishna did not do that. What did he do? 18.61. Yad ichchesu tatha kuru. Oh Kuru, you do whatever you. He has given a freedom. He has given a freedom. He has given complete freedom. People sometimes ask, why don't Krishna actually? Because he knows that I have difficulties in my life. I have all this kind of anartha. He should come and completely clean, and I can surrender to Krishna. No, no. Krishna does not do anything. He does not interfere in our life, because love comes voluntarily. When there is no volunteer, there is no question of love. And if something that we are forcing someone, then it's like some terrorist coming and saying that I love you. That's not the way it is like, right? It is a forceful. Love comes with the volunteer. So Krishna gave full freedom to Arjuna. He said that I told the whole Bhagavad Gita, now you do yad ichchesi tatha kuru. Oh Kuru, now you do whatever you want to do. I have given a full freedom. Now what is Arjuna is saying now after 10 shloka? Nasta moha labdha tot prasadam maya achyuta stitosmi gata sandeha karishe vachanam tava. Oh Lord, now nasta moha smriti labdha. Because of all your knowledge, this moha has been now nasa. It has been lost now. Stitosmi gata sandhya. Now I am well situated. Then how? Tot prasadam maya achyuta. Oh Achyuta, because of your mercy, now I am well situated. Now all moha has been lost. Now Rishe Vachanam Tava. I will do exactly what you have asked me to do that. And that is the characteristics of the disciple. Disciple will exactly do what the spiritual master actually is speaking. So similarly, here the sages of Naimisharanya, they are asking question to the Sutta Goswami, please tell what is the Shreyasha, not the praise, what is the ultimate benefit for the people in general, so that the people all over the world will actually follow. And next shloka is actually very beautiful, but I think we will pause here. What is the time? 11:30 or what is the time?
11:32.
We can continue. Oh, next is very nice shloka, where it is said that prayana alpa ayushya sabya kalavasmin yuge janaha manda sumanda matayo manda bhagya vipadruta. So these are the characteristics of the people of in, not people are all of our because we are in Kali Yuga. So what are the characteristics of the people in Kali Yuga? Now why he is actually talking about these characteristics? Because it linked to the next question. The next question the sages are going to ask is that please give us the essence of all the scripture. Why he is asking that essence of all scripture?
We don't have time to
Because we are crash course people, right? We will go all through these things. Give me the essence of everything, crash course. So crash course used to be earlier our IDC, ISKCON disciple course used to be 2 days. Now we crash course in a few hours. We are finishing that. So and I don't know. Eventually it may happen in 1 hour, and then become smarter and smarter. And Alpa Ayusha, it may happen within half an hour. We'll finish that IDC. So Prayana Alpa Ayusha. The characters of the people in this age of Kali is that short life. Earlier, the people used to have 10,000 years or lakhs of their life, then 10,000, then 1,000, then 100 years, and now 60, 70. Even if somebody comes to 60, 70, oh, very good. Somebody crosses the half century. Wow. Right? Half century. When Sachin Tendulkar used to be, or the cricketer used to be on 47, tuck, 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 tuck. Nervous half century, nervous. Then so similarly, when 46, 47, 48, slowly we are crossing the half century. So here the prayana alpa ayushya. The ayushya is actually coming down. Not only that, there are always quarrelsome. If you want to see how there is always quarrel, come to the road of the Bangalore. Little bit the rickshaw wala is cutting and then quarrel there, right? Always there is a quarrel. Kalasmin Yuge Jana. And not only that, there is a quarrel, but the people are lazy. Nidra and Uta. Uta and Nidra. Uta and Nidra. It is in a vicious circle. If you ask people what we are doing, once when I was in US, so Friday weekend begins. So the next 2 hours there was a group of young people, not devotee, young people. They were living their bachelors. So their Friday is to start on 5 o'clock. They begin to drink whole night, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, until 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and they will sleep 5 or 6 o'clock Saturday morning. And then Saturday afternoon they will get up with the whole eyes red, the whole face is actually swollen, and then they will get up and they will have uta and again sleep. And they get up 5 o'clock and again Saturday night the whole thing start. But unfortunately Monday morning they have to get up by 8 o'clock because they have to go to the office. So this is the Kali Yuga, Manda, very lazy. So earlier people used so intelligent and they were very hard worker, right? It is said that when great Shivaji Maharaj, when he used to fight, his sword was so heavy. Now the same sword is actually put in a museum. Now to lift that sword, we need at least 5 or 10 people to just lift. Imagine that we have to lift this sword and ride on the horse and then fight a battle. How much difficult, and people were so powerful, right? When I was small, people actually lift the sack of 50 kg of sugar on their back. Now, if you ask, oh, lower back problem. So people were lazy. Now people are lazy. The power is diminishing, misguided. Misguided. If you ask people going so fast, Prabhupada would always give example. The somebody is driving a car and going at the speed of 150 kmph or 150 miles per hour in the Europe and Western countries, and say that where are you going? Don't stop me. Don't ask me where I'm going, but I'm going somewhere. And you would have seen that cartoon, right? That he's going and then now he's reaching to the cliff of the mountain with that 160 kilometer per hour, and he doesn't know what is the next, and you know what is the next. So misguided. We have forgotten what is the purpose of the life, but now we are the whole purpose. Prabhupada writes in the purpose that why Prabhupada saying that we are misguided? Why we are, I mean the translation says misguided in the age of Kali.
Lot of interpretation.
Lot of misinterpretation.
Reading it.
Sorry, Mataji. Not going towards the goal of the life. Four propensities, ahara, nidra, bhaya, mritu, so completely engrossed. If you see the previous generation, 1 or 2 generations, forget about 500 years, just couple of generation back, people were so God conscious, so God conscious. Today, God is not at all in the picture. It's all about sense gratification, all about money and sense gratification. And not only that, the sense gratification, our life is becoming self-centric, and the self-centric becoming selfie, and the selfie becomes tell, I don't know what will happen. So it's all about selfie, selfie. Even we come to the temple, we keep selfie, God in the picture. God is somewhere in the corner, actually I in the center. That is how the selfie means. We are becoming so self-centric, so self-centric, so self-centric that all we have is only money and money and money in our life. We forgot everything. That is the example of the misguided people in the culture. And unlucky. We are not fortunate. Why we are so unlucky? So many diseases. You just eat little bit. We are so acquainted with normal things, and just outside of the normal, come to Vrindavan and we have fever, we have this. Unlucky. Come to the Bangalore traffic, going from one place to other traffic, even early in the morning or late night, 11:30 or 12 o'clock. Heavy traffic, unlucky, unlucky. And above all, always disturb. So, oh my God, doesn't stop there. So, Kali, and this is mentioned 5,000 years ago by the sages of Naimisharanya. And that time there was no WhatsApp, no Facebook, no Twitter, and all this tweet, all those things. Imagine we are so disturbed. Only God can save us. So that's why we have to read Srimad Bhagavatam. I just wanted to do few of the things from the Srila Prabhupada purport, and then we will end. It is so beautiful. Prabhupada writes. In Kali Yuga, the duration of the life is shortened, not so because of the insufficient food, but because of the irregular habits. I just wanted to highlight this particular point, and we will end here. by keeping regular habits and eating simple food, and man can actually maintain his health. Overeating, over sense gratification, over dependence on another's mercy, and artificial standards of living sap the very vitality of the human energy. Therefore, the duration of the life is shortened. We know how nicely, so beautifully Prabhupada has given. If our life is shortened, it's not because of the insufficient food, but because of the irregular habits. Sometimes having food at 12 o'clock, next day Saturday, Sunday 4 o'clock, Monday 11 o'clock. It's completely irregular. When are you sleeping? Sometimes 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. Absolutely no regularity. When actually the characteristics of the person who is in a mode of goodness, that means doing the same thing in a regulated way for a longer period of time. That is the characteristics of the mode of goodness. But when we are in the mode of passion, we want change, right? We want to change regularly. Food, we want to change in a food. If we go to Yatra, we want menu changing every single day. It's because Sattva Guna means we can eat the same thing regularly, consistently for a longer period of time, right? But when we are in the mode of passion, we want change. Change is the nature that is consistent in that. So Prabhupada so nicely talking about that. So overeating, over endeavoring, over dependence on the mercy of some other people is also causing our life to be shortened. So if we want to be our life in a longer period of time, what we should do? We should be regulated in our habits, should be simple in our food style. We should be simple in our eating, not should be overeating, not over endeavoring. Some I have seen some people working night till 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, over endeavoring for what? Double money. And then finally, what is happened? Once one Prabhu, Radhesham Prabhu was giving very nice example. I think did I tell here or somewhere? One person, he was getting some 40,000 rupees per month, and his boss said that you are working 8 hours per hour per day. But now, if you work 12 hours per day, actually we will increase your salary to 50,000. And then he goes to his home and asks his wife, what shall we do? Shall we accept this 12 hours per day, and it will increase our salary from 40,000 to 50,000? And both husband and wife did a month meditation and introspection. They come to the conclusion, which is very obvious. What was the conclusion? Yes, we'll go for that. And then he went for that. Boss was very happy. So 50,000 rupees he was getting per month, and then he was working very hard. Now instead of 8 hours, he's working 12 hours, and he has to go from place A to place B. So practically 12 to 13 hours is very busy. Because of working that 1 month and 2 months, he is getting 40 instead of 40,000, he is getting 50,000. I said 45,000. And then after 2 months, he started getting a back pain. Now he has to go to doctor every day, and he has to spend whatever the 10,000 extra that he was getting, that he has to spend for a doctor. So this is the people's lifestyle because of over endeavoring. So maybe next time we can continue this shloka, so beautiful about that, how we ourselves can actually make our life wonderful by keeping Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita in the center, having simple lifestyle, regulated lifestyle, Brahmanical lifestyle, lifestyle in the mode of goodness, and that is how we can actually for a longer period of time. And when we live for a longer period of life, not for enjoying sense gratification, but for the service of Srila Prabhupada mission, for the service of Krishna Gandharvika Giridhari, so that we make our life successful and we help others to make their life successful. We'll end here. Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande. Any questions or discussion, comments, correction? Yes, Prabhu.
Prabhu, in this sloka, we are saying over dependence on others' mercy.
Yes, Prabhu.
So, as a Vaishnavas, we always depend on all other Vaishnavas' mercy because we don't have any qualifications. So, how can you understand?
So here, if you see the context of Prabhupada, if you see the context is overeating, over endeavoring. So Prabhupada is talking about in the material context. So he's not talking about the spiritual context, because spiritual context, if you see Gopi Bhargavata Kamala, Das, and Das. We are supposed to become servant of servant, because we are not qualified. We become qualified only by the mercy of authority or the spiritual person. So we are not qualified. So here we are, it's like depending on boss, and the boss will say you work hard for 12, instead of 12 hours you work for 15 hours, then I will give you extra money. Now you are losing the 12 15 extra 4 5 hours. You are working hard, your body is actually spoiling. Second thing, you are not giving enough time to family members, so everything is at the loss, but for what? Getting money. So here the over dependence is mentioned in the context of depending for the material benefit, not for the spiritual benefit, because in fact our dependence is on our spiritual master. We are trained that we should actually depend on Srila Prabhupada. We are trained to become depend on the Lord Krishna. Is the whole purpose, that because we cannot do on our own endeavor. So we are trained dependence for the spiritual thing, for the spiritual authority, not for the material things, for the material people. Because now what is the problem in this? What is the problem in this over dependence on somebody else? What is the flaw in that statement? I mean, sorry, what is the flaw in depending on somebody else?
They will become the center of that.
Yes, and because we become the other person is actually is a puja, we are worshipping him. He become a center of our life. We are start meditating on his qualities. Then we will imbibe his qualities. But the most important, we forget that the source of everything, Janmadi Asyatah, the source of even the manager, what he's going to approve our appraisal or our hike actually is getting approved by the Supreme Court. We forget that. So being dependent on the materialistic person means forgetting on Krishna, or forgetful of dependence on the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. So that is the problem of being dependent on somebody, on something else. But if we depend on the person who is connected to Lord Sri Krishna, actually it is very fortunate situation for all of us. And that is why all acharyas say that we are so fortunate that we actually depend on somebody else. We became a das anu das anu das anu das. Hope that helps. Hare Krishna. Yes,
Hare Krishna. So, Srimad Bhagavatam rejects the cheating religion and doesn't give any response. But somewhere in the fourth canto, when Prithu Maharaj's pastimes and we see Dhruva Maharaj's pastimes and this one, some Palashruti is there. Like, in Prithu Maharaj's pastimes, when we read, one will get good children, one will get good uplands, and things like that. Is that? But when we see Dhruva Maharaj or Prahlad Charita, like one will develop love of God, all those things like that. How to understand those Palashrutis?
so if you see, sometimes the context, the overall context, see, any book, what is the beginning and what is the end, and in between we will have things which will actually overcome. So at the beginning is talking about Srimad Bhagavatam, Param Satya, and at the end, if you see the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam, and among the Puranas, Srimad Bhagavatam is the best. And somewhere this is also mentioned so that people get attracted to the pastimes of Bhagavatam. So because knowing that the people in Kali Yuga are very misguided, unlucky, and they are disturbed. So Bhagavatam sometimes may say that, but that is not the all in all. It is just some kind of stuffing in between the overall picture of that. But yes, but even if that time, it is also mentioned that if you hear these pastimes, will actually get attached to the pastimes of Lord Sri Krishna. Or even if the son who can actually become a God conscious, and then by having a son, Putra, who can actually deliver from going us to the some kind of hellish planets. So by giving all those things indirectly or directly connecting to the absolute path or the spiritual path. Any other questions?
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, as you told, like very difficult to understand the absolute truth, even by demigods, sages, they cannot understand. So this statement always discouraged me, like how we can like to understand Krishna.
In Bhagavad Gita 10.2, Namehe Vidu Suragana, it is said that even the sages cannot understand. Now, why this? If you see, the context of this statement is that we are a creation and he is a creator. Creation cannot understand creator. So this is the first thing that actually comes out of this statement to emphasize the importance or the position of the Lord who is a creator. The second thing, because Lord is a great and we are a tiny, we can understand only once he reveals to us. So the knowing to Lord is not by our knowledge or by our endeavor. It is not possible. Now, how do we understand? In Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam 10th canto 8th chapter, when Mother Yashoda was actually trying to bind Krishna, was she able to bind Krishna? No, it is not possible. Prabhupada writes in the purport. How is it possible that Lord, who has no beginning, who has no end, for that particular Lord, you can bind by a material rope? Is it possible? No. But still we can bind Krishna. How? By love. So here, the greatness of the Lord is emphasized, but at the same time, the greatness of that great Lord can be bound by the love of his devotees. If you see in Nectar of Devotion, there are the characters of Bhakti, and the fifth character is that Krishna Akarshini. So by having or practicing Bhakti, one can even control Krishna, and that is even bigger than that. So for us, the hope is that the first thing is that Krishna is a creator. Yes, we can understand Krishna is a creator. We cannot understand him, but if we engage in the devotional service, we can even control that supreme Lord. Krishna is actually Swarat, right? He is independent. Krishna is Atmaram. That means his all desires are self-satisfied. He doesn't need. But the same Lord is actually feels hungry and he actually go to somebody's house and he actually steals like a beggar. How do you understand that? The same Lord who has no beginning, who has no end, but is bound by Mother Yashoda. How? So that actually it reiterates the greatness of bhakti, which actually is greater than God Himself, because which controls the Lord. So for us, the aspect of creation is important, but at the same time, by engaging in the devotional service, we can even control that supreme Lord. The Lord is called as Madana Mohana, but Radharani is called as a Madana Mohana Mohini. That Radharani who can even control the Supreme Lord, who controls the cubic personality, right? So, in fact, it encourages all of us that great Lord it cannot be revealed to even the great personality, but the same Lord can reveal Himself, can be allowed Himself to be bound only by Bhakti Baddham, right? Rudanta Muhur Netram Yugmam Mujantam Karam Bhoja Yugmuna. And then the last line says with bhakti baddham. So only Lord can be bound only by bhakti. So it gives a lot of inspiration, motivation. Yes, we should actually be practicing devotional service. Okay, we'll end here. Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande.
Hare Krishna. Yugal Krishna Prabhuji, thank you so much. Thanks a lot for giving a wonderful session, especially summarizing the text 1 to 8. I think we had 2 weeks of gap after a blissful yatra, and so happy to see a houseful back session today. And summarizing the text 1 to 8 and also the characteristics of the age of Kali and also the questions the sages has asked. So quick announcements. So 21st May is the last day for the registration for the Siksha. So please reach out to your PV Bhakti Riksha leaders, and then we request everyone you to get enrolled to the next level of your Siksha. As Prabhuji said that we had was part of the Srila Prabhupada Puja in IBC Whitefield and now in IBC Panathur. Next Sunday, May 14th, we are planting another seed in the Bangalore. We are starting the new center in our temple. So request every one of you to please come and bless and make that a grand event. And in order to make it even more grander, today between 4 to 6 p.m. we are going to have the Nagar Sankirtan at a new center. So devotees, if you are available, please join the Nagar Sankirtan. Okay. So today's prasadam sponsors, we have Anita Mataji for her daughter Praniti's birthday, and also Siddhanath Prabhuji for his son Dhruv's birthday, and then we have one anonymous sponsor as well. So let's chant Hare Krishna mantra for the well-being of all these devotees.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare.
Let's also chant one more time Hare Krishna mantra for the well-being of His Grace Yugal Kishore Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare.
So now we'll proceed for Aarti and then Prasad.
ऐसी भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय। जय ओम सुपाद परम परिवार आचार्य आश्रम श्रीमती डिवाइन ग्रेस भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। आचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री राधा कृष्ण गौर गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। वृंदावन मथुरा धाम की जय। मायापुर नवद्वीप धाम की जय। सप्तम क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय। माया माई की जय। श्री महारानी भक्ति देवी की जय। समवेत भक्त वृंद की जय। ताई गौर प्रेमानंद की जय। और गुरु शासन मंडली और गुरु शासन मंडली और गुरु शासन मंडली और गुरु और गुरु और गुरु और गुरु